Hey guys, it's Ashley. So I'm just coming to you all to share with you a project life inspired flip book that I've made. Sorry for any background noise or if the camera shakes. I'm just trying out a new quick filming setup that I can do quick craft videos for you guys with. And so this is the project life inspired flip book that I've made, and it opens as so. And I hope everything is in frame so you guys can see. And to make this, what you'll need is a fuse tool. And I always just use this one. And I have the We Are Memory Keepers brand, but you can use any brand that you like. And make sure that's heated up and ready to go. And I also use these pages from Snap. They're called Insta Pockets. And these have the squares. It has the 2 big squares and the 4 big squares on the side. And I also use the We Are Memory Keepers Albums Made Easy inserts. And I'm not sure if you guys can see, it has the big rectangles and the smaller rectangle ones. So basically what I did was cut them to the size that I wanted. And I just used my Westcott cutting blade, and it just has the one that slides. So basically what you want to do is figure out which ones you want to use. And so the ones that I used were basically about this size. So I just cut them all roughly to that size, which ones I wanted to use. So for this one, this is the one with the big square and the 2 little squares. For this one is the one from the Project Life We Are Memory Keepers Album Made Easy, and this is just the large rectangle. And I also have the one with the 2 rectangles that I cut out. I put the big rectangle on the outside, the big square on the outside right here, and then I have the 2 smaller rectangles in the middle. So basically what I did was just fuse them together, which is uber easy to do. So I just have these in already just so you guys can kind of see. And you can trim them down if you want. Or usually I just wait until I fused everything together and then trim it down. So basically you want to line it up and use a paper clip to kind of hold it in place. So I usually just take my paper clip and hold it down. And then I kind of line it up how I want it. So that's about good for me. And I try to make sure the bottoms are lined up as well, or at least even, so that if I need to cut a little off the top of the squares, I can. So once that's kind of lined up, you are going to take some scrap paper and put under, or if you have the heat mat or any kind of protective mat, that's fine. But I don't do it directly on my craft mat because it's plastic and it will melt. So I usually just put a piece of paper under. Make sure everything is still lined up pretty well. Then if you need to, you can use a ruler or the fusing ruler that came with the set, but I moved and I misplaced mine, so I usually don't use it. I usually just go ahead and fuse it once I have it where I want it. I usually start at the bottoms first, do the edges first, then kind of go along the edge that's already fused together. And then it's pretty much as easy as that. And that is for the first one. I put the first one on this side with the edge that's hanging off, and so it will open this way. And then for my next one, which is going to open this way, I'm going to fuse it on this side as so. And you always want to make sure that your openings are to the top. I forgot to mention that earlier, but the square ones open to the side most of the time, so you don't really have to worry about that. But on your regular size Project Life, make sure you have the opening up. And so you line it up how you need it. Position the paper clips. And then make sure everything is lined up where you want it. Then once you got everything how you like it, go ahead and fuse it together. And you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. I'm just trying out something different. You can put your placement however you want it, or put your cards however you want them to go. And you don't necessarily have to use the protectors or sheets that I'm using either. You can try out whichever ones you like and make it your own. So just making sure this is kind of lined up. And I just go along where it was already fused. And you can put them together however you like. It doesn't have to be the same way that I do here. And sorry if my head gets in the camera. So you just want to make sure everything is nice and fused together. And be careful with the fuse tool because it does get pretty hot. Then I usually just check the seam and make sure it's nice and fused. And sometimes if it doesn't fuse good when you do it on the front, you can turn it over and fuse the back, and it'll give you a stronger hold as well. So that's pretty much it. But then I go in and I trim up my edges and make sure everything is nice and neat. And I usually cut this part off, but I think I'm gonna leave it on this time. But I do want to go in and cut the one from the squares because it is overlapping a little bit. So I'm gonna put it on my cutter. Hopefully you guys can see this. Line everything up and just trim that off. And it just comes off really easy. And now everything is nice and even. And you have a nice little flip book that you can decorate and insert your cards into. And with this one, the square one, sometimes when you cut it, this does flap up. So if you want to fix that, you can go ahead and do that. Let me see how much space I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a stitch in there. It's best to use something that you can make a straight line with, because sometimes I can and sometimes I can't, so it's pretty much best to use something that you can make a straight line with. So sometimes I just used a piece of cardstock, and I'm just gonna go right along here and fuse that up a little bit more so that the pocket doesn't slide around if I put goodies or anything in there. And then I still have these two little pockets, just so if I put goodies or anything, it doesn't fall out. And I think we're good here. And I always just check to make sure everything is sealed nice and good. So then you can choose whichever cards or cut your own cardstock to fit in all the pockets and decorate them how you like and add your little goodies for your pen pal. And that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much the same way I created this one. And I used my Project Life cards and just picked coordinating ones. Then I can decorate where I want, and then I can add my goodies. And I also use this one here, which is actually an envelope, so I can stick goodies in here for my pals to use, and I can decorate the front how I want. So the possibilities are pretty much endless with this method, and you can pretty much make it your own. You don't have to use the Project Life inserts. You can also use the pocket pages like we use for the pocket letters. There are also 20 pocket pages, which have 20 little squares, which they fit the same size cards as the mini Instagram cards for the Albums Made Easy. So basically with the 20 pocket page, you get 20 little squares you can decorate and add goodies to for your pen pals. So like I said, the possibilities for this are endless, and you can make the flip book your own. You can make it however you like and put your own touch on it. And if you guys use this, please tag me on Instagram so I can see your creations. My pen pal account for Instagram is at Ashley H Crafts. And please tag me if you guys try this out. I would love to see what you guys come up with. And thanks for checking out my video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.